Hello. Today we're going to take a look at the Boyum Build solution. Boyum Build was designed to give SAP Business One customers some engineering capabilities, some product design capabilities, and to be able to do that in a secure cloud environment. So to get started, let's open up our production module. And in here, we're going to jump into Boyum Build PDM. Now, I'm in a multi-company environment. And so the first thing it's asking me is, what company am I going to be connecting to? And then next, it brings me right into Boyum Build. So let's go ahead, let's skip the tutorial. And what we're looking at here, the initial screen is a Kanban board. And this shows me the status of all my engineering change orders, engineering change notices, new product designs, those kinds of things, based on the different statuses we go through in processing a change order or a new product. To give you a good idea how this works, let's go ahead and let's add a new request. And in this case here, this might be a new red wagon. And so in this case, what we want to do is we want to build, let's say, a new product. And so let's go ahead and go with that. So we're going to build a new red wagon. Now you can see here, it put it right in the Kanban board, and we're right sitting in as a new request. So until we do anything else with this, this is going to stay as a new request. Now I can drag and drop, and I can update the status this way. It's now in progress. It's now waiting for approval. But reality is there's a little bit more we need to do to this before we can release this into Business One. So the first thing is we've got our title, new red wagon. Here we can put in the details, of course. And then we want to try to select a target date. What date, would it be really nice to have this available and ready to go into Business One? Is there a due date for this product request? And then we can choose an existing item. If this is an engineering change order, and we're going to take our old red wagon and make it into a new red wagon, then we might choose our red wagon bill of material. In this case here, we're going to simply add a new item. Now, based on the setup, it goes out and I have a template called new item. And so a lot of the fields are filled out automatically from that template. So we're going to give this a code here. We'll create an item ID for it. This will be a new red wagon. And you see it's a make item, of course. We're going to make something. Here's where we can select our unit of measure. In this case here, we'll start by keying in eaches, but you can see how it narrows it down quickly from the list. The last key thing that needs to be decided upon when you're creating a new item is the item group, because there's a few things in SAP tied to the item group. So in this case here, we may put this into maybe our accessories item group or whatever group that makes sense. All right, so we've got our new item created. Unless there's anything else, we go ahead and we save our work. Now that the work is saved, now we can get a little bit deeper into this. We've created our new item. Are there schematics involved here? Do we have a schematic that we want to be able to bring up and tie to this engineering change order or this new product? Here we've just added a schematic. There's no limit to the number of attachments. You'll see a counter right here. If I want to view this attachment, I click, and it'll download it locally to my local computer, which is perfect for a cloud solution. And then I can go ahead and I can bring this up, scan in, redline it, do whatever I need to do. And then when I'm done, I can either remove it or I can add another attachment and add it right back from my PC. So you've got full attachment capabilities. Over here, we have a task list. Are there certain things, there's some best business practices when it comes to creating a new item. One of those might be a marketing survey. So here we can put in our list of things that need to be done before we commit this product. And it also has a spell checker, which is really kind of nice. So we want a marketing survey. We need to research suppliers. And so we'll go ahead and again, we just add as many tasks as we need. And once a task is completed, we just simply check the box. All right. Next, let's go ahead and let's go into, before we go, let me save our changes here. And let's go into our item structure. Now, in the item structure here, there's really not anything to look at because this is a brand new item. So you can see we're absolutely starting from scratch. So this is where I can really begin to build my bill of material, my routing, all of my labor steps, really two places. If I'm just going to be, if I want to take this product and maybe I want to copy a bill of material, do a same as except. Well, this is where I can select an existing BOM and clone it. Here's where I can start with an empty list. And then here's where I can actually import my bill of material from a CAD image. In this case here, let's go ahead and let's just start with an empty list. Now, if we go to operation plan, this is where you can build your entire bill of material and routing and all your labor steps from this one screen. So operations are labor steps. I'm sorry, operations are our work centers, the actual operations on the floor. Here's all my operations. So we're building a new red wagon. One of my first routing steps is going to be cutting. I need to cut some steel. And so my first routing step is cutting. And now I have a choice. I can look for material that I'm going to cut. So as an example, I've got some material here that I want to add. I want to cut that. And then I also need to cut this one here. And so I'm able to add in multiple items. In this case here, I added the same item twice. And so you can also remove items just with a click. And so we'll go ahead and throw in a different item there. So now I got a couple of items. If there isn't any labor associated with cutting, it's a done deal. We can move into our next operation. But in my case here, there is going to be some labor. So this is where I could go out to my resources here. There's a filter here. So, you could just start by, keying in information and it'll narrow down your resources. Cutting is my labor resource. So we're going to drag and drop that up here. So now in my first routing step, we're going to cut these two items. Now, after we cut those two items, then it's going to go to another operation. And in that case here, we can look through our list of operations. And maybe this one's going to go into, well, let's see, let's list some more here. This one might go into a production step. So let's go ahead and throw that. So after it goes to cut, it goes into production where we are going to do some assembly. And so again, using my filter, which is really important because you may have, it's not uncommon to have, hundreds of different operations over time, possibly tens of thousands of material. So that filter is really a nice feature here. So in our production step, what we're going to do is we are going to do some assembly. So let's throw in our assembly labor. And then we're also going to do maybe some anodizing. We'll throw that in there. And that might be it. Now, all I need to do before I can save this is now that I've got my product structure looking the way I want it, this is where we have to put in some of our run times and setup times. So for cutting on my CNC machine, it takes about 30 minutes to set up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and key in that estimated setup time. My run time is going to be about 30 minutes as well. So we'll go ahead and key that in here. And so now I've got my setup time and my run time. Now I need the quantity of my raw material. In this case here, I need 3 of those and I need 2 of these. And then lastly, for my assembly labor, it's going to take me an hour. So we'll go ahead and key that in here. My setup time is going to take an hour and my job time might take 2 hours. So we'll go ahead and fill that out appropriately. Anodizing, same thing. We'll put in our setup time and then our run time. And in this case here, we'll do an hour. So now we've got a complete routing, bill of material, and labor plan to produce this new item. Let's save our changes. And at this point here, we may also consider changing our status. So we'll move this up to in progress. If something happens, we need to come back to this later, and we log out or we go back in later, you can always go back to our Kanban board here. And here we can see our new red wagon, and it's at the new status here in progress. So let's keep going. Let's go into our new red wagon. And here we can see the items on the bill of material. We can see the operation plan, our routing, resources, and raw material. Here we can see an item structure report. Now what we want to do is we want to estimate our cost. What's it going to cost us to produce this new red wagon? And so I want to use my cost of my inventory. That's the price list I use. These are SAP price lists. So use my cost, and the destination is also going to be my cost. I want to calculate my cost because the way I have my price lists set up, my costs will also calculate all of my sales prices. And I'm going to build these on a lot size of 1, and I want to start my price calculation. And now it's completely finished. This gives me a real good idea of what it's going to cost me to produce this new red wagon. I can see my direct labor costs, my direct material costs, any indirect labor, overheads, indirect material. On the far right here, this is where I can give it a markup. So if I want to calculate a sales price, then based on whatever markup percentage I want, I'm able to do that. Down below, I see a couple of charts that show me a breakdown of my costs. And at this point, let's go ahead and let's save our changes. So what we've done now, literally in just a matter of a few minutes, is we created a brand new item. We created the item's routing. We added material and labor to that routing. We just analyzed our costs, did a cost roll-up. At this point, we are now ready to release this in SAP Business One. When we click the Release Product button, this assembly will now show up inside of SAP Business One. Now, when it does, of course, you can generate an alert. You can have it show up as not approved. You've got all kinds of options available. But the cool thing is it'll pull it out of the cloud sandbox, the engineering cloud sandbox, and then put that into Business One. And we developed an entire product structure with nothing more than a mouse. That's all we have to show you today, but thank you for watching.